want us to say this confession because this is going to hit kind of tough on today for some of us. But I want us to say this confession, and everybody watching online, if you could put this in the room in all caps. Can I get us to say, Father, renew my spirit. Refresh my fatigued soul. At your feet is where I find rest. One more time. Father, renew my spirit. Refresh my fatigued soul. At your feet. One more time. At your feet. Again, at your feet. That's where I find rest. At your feet. Not at the bar. Not in the club. Not with him. Not with her. At your feet is where my soul finds rest. There's somebody under the sound of my voice. The sacred sanctuary, overflows, or watching online. You're tired. Lord knows you're tired. It's like the emotion check engine light in your soul has been on for at least the last 2 or 3 years. But you keep going and going and going. You find yourself in this place where you're tired. And the coffee isn't working. Attempting to sleep 6 and 8 hours every night, that's not working because there's a difference between sleep and rest. You could be laying down attempting to sleep but not resting in your mind, not resting in your heart, not resting in your soul, which is why you still wake up and the battery of your spirit is still flashing red even though it was on the charger all night. Find yourself tired. The workout sessions, they're not working. You Googled and heard that workouts give you more energy. Well, to a certain extent, but not this type of tiredness. The energy drinks aren't working, and you really get irritated when somebody asks you how you're doing and you tell them, man, I'm just tired, and they suggest, why don't you take a nap? Take a day off. Take a break. I guess they don't understand that sleeping doesn't fix soul tiredness. You're tired, but on the inside. Exhausted, but on the inside. Fatigued, but on the inside. You've tried many different pursuits, but none of them seems to be working. You're worn out on the inside. On the inside. In fact, soul tiredness will have us mislabeling it as other things. I'm going to give you a list. Like, for example, you're not lazy, you're tired. You're tired of hoping that God heard your prayer. So the motivation has dwindled because you're tired. You're tired because you keep trying to force your will on God's will, and God doesn't work like that. Just because you will it doesn't mean he wills it. And so now because you keep trying to force your will over God's will, you find yourself in recovery season after recovery season after recovery season after recovery season. That doesn't mean it's not your season. It's just you haven't surrendered your will to his. You're tired, but soul tiredness, we must label it as something else. Like, you're not triggered. You're tired. And that's manifesting in your attitude. They didn't say anything spicy to you. Your waiter just forgot your tartar sauce. I don't like the way she kind of just walked away. She didn't apologize. She didn't. Everybody has to deal with the residue of your tiredness. And you're saying, I'm triggered, or could it be you're tired? Tired. Soul tiredness. I hear you, sis. Perhaps you're not troublesome, you're tired. You're tired of trying to convince your mother that you're a good daughter. You're tired of trying to convince your family that that's not what I mean. It's not like that. You're tired of trying to get them to understand your heart. For goodness sake, you're tired of trying to understand their heart. You're tired. And soul tiredness, oftentimes, we can mislabel it. Perhaps she hasn't lost her standards. She's just tired of trusting God's timing. So you entertain the right now man versus the right man. You entertain the right now woman versus the right one. Not because you don't know God, not because you're not filled with the Spirit, but you're tired. You're tired. You're strong, but tired. You're saved, but tired. In a new month, it is already March. Can y'all believe it? 15% of 2024 is already gone. How are you using it? 15% of 2024 is already gone. New month, still tired. New year, but you're just as tired in 2024 as you were in 2023, because just because the calendar number changes doesn't mean your tiredness changes if you haven't learned to go to Jesus and lay at his feet. I have to teach today, church family, tiredness. And Jesus says, all of you who are like that, I want to help us. I have an acronym for tired that I want us to remember. Jesus says, all of you who are troubled, come to me. All of you who are irritated constantly, you come to me. All of you who are ready to give up. All of you who are exhausted. All of you who are depressed, come to me. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. You find yourself troubled. You find yourself irritated continuously. You find yourself ready to give up, ready to quit on ministry, ready to quit on your marriage, ready to quit on your life. You just have this quit going around every single day. You wake up, I should quit. If you're there, if you're exhausted, if you're depressed. Because sometimes what depression is, not all the times, because there's many different forms of depression. But sometimes you know what depression is? It's the real you tired of acting okay. It's the real you tired of smiling. The real you tired of acting okay. Because sometimes depression is the real you pressed down. And Jesus says, if you're like that, I want you to come to me. And I just want to see how many honest people do we have in the sacred sanctuary. If they're not honest online, I'm going to preach to y'all. How many honest people who honestly raise their hand and say, you know what? I find myself tired. Yeah. I'm tired of jumping oceans for people who wouldn't jump a puddle for me. Tired. I know I'm supposed to be kingdom, but in my humanity, if I tell the truth, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm so tired of allowing their choices to become my chaos. I'm tired. I'm tired of attempting to water things that don't want to grow up. I'm tired. So, watch this. One type of tiredness requires rest. Another type of tiredness requires peace. Then another type of tiredness requires hope. Burnout is when all three are present. One more time. One type of tiredness requires rest. One type of tiredness requires peace. And another type of tiredness requires hope. Burnout is when all three are present. You need rest, you need peace, and you need hope. And that's when my flame, my fire has gone out. See, we haven't recognized a firefighter can be tiredness. So tired and you don't even know what to do with it. Some of us have been measuring our strength by how much you could take. So you think you're strong because you can go tired. I want to read this exact same verse, Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 through 30. But I want to read this in the Message Bible. It says, are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I will show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me, work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn how to live freely, watch this, and lightly. So what Jesus is promising us here in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 11, he is promising rest. He's saying, all of you who are tired, exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, even relationally. Because if you want to be honest, you'd be like, okay, God, I love you and you're Lord on high, but can I at least have the tracking for what I prayed for? Is that for real? Like, can I at least have the tracking number for what I prayed for? And if it got lost, just say that. as though God could lose or misplace what he has for you. But just in our humanity, we're like, God, don't you see what I'm going through? Don't you see what I'm facing? Don't you see how I'm struggling trying to be a single parent? Don't you see how my marriage is on life support? Don't you see how my faith is dwindling? God, can I at least have tracking? Don't you see what I'm going through? All of you who are like that. All of you who were ever pandemic exhausted. You just transitioned, but you never really stopped and recognized, how did that affect my soul? All of us who are pandemic exhausted. All of us who are exhausted to the point of stress. You're exhausted with smiling. You're exhausted with trying to act okay. Or you're so exhausted where you got more questions than you have answers. If you're there, Jesus says, come to me. Like, it's almost as if Jesus is suggesting that there is a rest, there is a fulfillment, talk Holy Spirit, there is a clarity that you can only find in me. It can only be found in me. And you've been trying to find it other places, but you find yourself still exhausted. Everyone who is tired of living their life on E, come to me. All of us who are tired of living in a fog, Jesus is saying, come to me because I traffic in clearing haze. I know how to make it clear. I know how to give you discernment. I know how to give you direction. You're not going to find it in them. In fact, that just made you more tired. I need you to be intentional. Somebody say intentional. That's what God is saying. 2024, I need you to be intentional. Matter of fact, the rest of your life, be intentional with your spiritual growth. And be intentional with your spiritual development. Because hear me, when you are intentional with your spiritual growth, that is never an expense. It's always an investment. And you can never invest in your walk with Christ too much. Some of us, I'm going to just keep it a buck with you. Every single time we have community, you should be there. Every single time the church doors open, you should be there. That's what I need right now. Because I'm tired. Some stuff I don't get through teaching, I get through touch, and I need to constantly be edified. Because one of the best things that you could do, and the best thing that I could do, is to give our assignment a healthy version of me, versus giving my assignment an on fumes version of me. I love you and I love God too much to ever preach on E. And if somebody gets mad that I sit down, that's your problem. But I refuse to serve on fumes. See, we have to get this. I must be spiritually nourished if I expect to externally flourish and enjoy it. We got this thing so backwards. We rather externally flourish. Most of our sermons in America are more about you externally flourishing than your spirit man being nourished. Sometimes that means you're going to get convicted. Sometimes that means you may not like what I preach, but you should value spiritual nourishment more than external flourishing. External flourishing. Maybe this is why you can't sleep. Because the Holy Spirit is saying, how long are you going to ignore this? Let me help somebody. That's not insomnia. That's an invitation. Pray. That's right. Come to my feet. All day long, you gave everybody energy. You gave Netflix my attention. You gave Hulu my attention. We rewatched that show, and you've already seen it 3 times. I'm like, girl, I love this movie. I need that attention now. How about rewatch this verse? How about replay this book? That's my time. So I want us to really understand this, okay? So all throughout this sermon, you're going to have spiritual implications along with practical implications where you can know spiritually where you are and practically how to prevent it or how to get out of it, okay? Because like I said many times, I can't stand sermons that preach about a problem, but I leave not knowing how to fix it. I'll just leave church, man, I'm tired. What you gonna do? I don't know, I'm just tired. So there are levels to burnout. I want to give it to you. Level 1, I have 3 levels of burnout. This is just from what I'm seeing via the scriptures, and then we're going to look at a biblical candidate that I believe could better corroborate what I'm attempting to articulate to you. But there are 3 levels of burnout. We have level 1, level 2, and level 3. Y'all ready for this? Okay, this is so that you can evaluate your own life. You may not be there, but you could get there. Level 1 of burnout, your passion fades. The things that you used to be passionate about, it starts to fade. I'm going to be transparent all throughout this sermon. Anytime my passion to study and preaching starts to fade, I need to sit. Mine, you got it this week. Will, you got it. Isaac, you got it. Who? I need to glean myself. Passion phase. Number 2, nonchalant behavior. You'll say this a lot. You'll say this a whole lot. It is what it is. Somebody's foot was under that one. It is what it is. Man, it's whatever. I don't even care. Nonchalant behavior. Third thing of level 1, burnout, spiritual disciplines are optional. I may read, I may not. Depending on how I feel today. I may listen to the sermon, I may not. Depends on how I feel today. It becomes optional when there was a time in your life it was necessary. It's level 1. I believe everybody will hit level 1 in their life. I do. Level 2 is a little deeper. Burnout level 2, you never feel fully rested. Never. It don't matter how long you sleep. This is a prolonged tiredness. Never feel fully rested. You go on spring break, on vacation, come back more tired. Never fully rested. Second symptom of level 2 burnout. You're easily irritated and everyone seems draining. Not just like there's certain people who are draining and there are other people, they're not draining, but you're so burned out that they appear to be draining. And everything irritates you. Man, it's raining and cold outside today. Pick a season, bro. Like, just irritated. Get to the office. Hey, we have donuts and bagels. Man, who eats bagels? Give me a donut. Really? Like just everything. People trying to be kind. There is some of us laugh, but you know that this is you. There is a short fuse on everything. Maybe you're not triggered, you're tired. Third symptom of level 2, productivity or serving has faded. I see this as a pastor all the time. Front row, second row, third row, fourth row, y'all broke up, 8th row, out the door. You know when you come back? Resurrection when the visual performing arts, you'll be back then. You'll come, then you'll be back around the fall. Then you'll come on New Year's. All right, 2025 though, that's my year. Fades. Scripture tells us to examine ourselves. This is for you to examine and see where you're at. Level 3 is the most severe of burnout. Main symptom number 1 is wanting out. I want out of this marriage. Sometimes I want out of this life. Suicidal thoughts may plague you once you're here. It's wanting out. The desire to continue has left. I don't want to go to church. Not just your church, any church. I'm done with Christianity, period. It is what it is. I want out. Second symptom, insomnia or not departing from the bed. Either you can't sleep or all you do is sleep, but you're still tired. Like if you didn't have a bladder or responsibilities, you would never get up. You wouldn't move. Third symptom, you can't focus. All throughout this message, your mind's been drifting in and out. Can't focus. Ability to concentrate is limited. Fourth symptom, anatomy alarms, headaches, eyes twitching, blood pressure, stomach pain, chest tightness. Your anatomy is giving an alarm. You're tired? You're tired? You're tired? You're tired? Hear me. And level 3 can't be fixed by vacation. It can only be fixed by Jesus.